Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, Air the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the man from Tulsa. You guys know who I'm talking about, by the way. That nutcase Ray Ray, a.k.a. Roland. Uh, also went by Roro at one point, I guess. So, yeah. He's back to doing his videos again, I guess, of Honda and NEA and stuff like that. And Matt, Duke, and Corey were kind of talking about him a little bit last night on Matt's Trigger Time. And basically, Matt wanting nothing to do with him ever again is what it is there, which makes sense logically. I mean, yeah, it's been almost 2 years, bro. Like, let it go, man, at some point, seriously. That being said, there's a big difference between, myself and Ray Ray, which obviously my thing happened like a month or so before the whole fallout with Ray Ray and Honda and those guys, what it was then. Big difference with me, though, is, I was personally slandered by, Guns and Barbecue, and then obviously people like Baron SVG and stuff like that's what it was. Things that obviously I'm not. And that's the big thing there. And that's why I'll never let that fucking go over for those guys, dude. Now, granted, I'll mention it once in a while. Here's what it is. But mostly I'll let it go for the most part over the years and stuff now. And it's just when I get really pissed off and stuff like that, I'll usually mention it like a chat, offhanded comments and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm mentioning it now because of the whole, correlation is what it is. And the thing was, it's like, here's the thing too, right? I can understand if John was pissed at me personally on that whole thing. If I had said some shit on his chat, is what it was, right? I didn't even say it on his chat, dude. Like, I said it on my own fucking channel in a random chat. It wasn't even that bad, honestly. Meanwhile, you have Ray Ray going on fucking NEA's chat saying all kinds of slanderous shit. I'm surprised Matt didn't get about 10 fucking channel strikes just because of Ray Ray's nutty ass, honestly, at one point or another. He probably did, actually. He probably had to fight him all off, I guess, to be honest at this point. But, yeah, no. Like Roland's biggest problem, honestly, is a multitude of things. And I think Honda has said it kind of correctly, honestly, because we've talked about this, and I think he even hopefully talked about it a couple times in his own chats and stuff, was about he believes that Ray Ray has, I believe it's a histrionic personality disorder, which if you begin to look that stuff up, it kind of correlates, but it's also other stuff too for that matter. It's like a mix between that and then like, I think honestly, like I could see like some of what Ray Ray was actually saying being legitimate or whatever. And there's obviously other things out there. And it would be like that, plus like the drugs obviously he was on for like a crazy amount of time and stuff. And I know Matt didn't want to say it. I'll fucking say it straight up, dude. Ray Ray was on fucking meth, dude. He was smoking meth during the 2020 lockdowns with the Antifa people and shit like that. That's what it was. He was fucking at the time. It was another guy claiming to be transgender who was part of Antifa who had an ACAB tattoo on their neck or whatever the case be, that this dude was legitimately fucking at the time. And it was that person that was like, hey, let's try this methamphetamine together. And he was sitting there smoking meth with this motherfucker. Like, of course it's going to fuck with your head psychologically, dude. Not to mention the fact that he, at that point in time, I'm pretty sure he was already on, like, various estrogen and other fucking hormone drugs and stuff like that. And you combine that with, like, hardcore, drugs, like street drugs that are made out of, like, various chemicals and shit like that. And you add on top of that, like, already unstable mental illness stuff is what it is there for, whether it be manic depressiveness or whether it be fucking undiagnosed childhood trauma, because apparently I guess Ray was talking about being molested by their family some places there was, or whatever the case be there is, which this is all stuff I've been told, in the past by several people, honestly, in the circle. Here's what it is. And yeah, the guy's just a fucking lunatic is what it is, dude. Like, and now granted, who's to say any of it is real or it's all bullshit, honestly. It could just be him fucking talking, honestly. I think truthfully though, some of it is probably legitimate. Like the fact that he's willing to talk about like childhood traumas and stuff like that, I could easily see that being for real, honestly. And if that be the case, then like obviously there is like some psychological issues there that need to be addressed, and it needs to be like hardcore therapy for that motherfucker. But instead, they've gone and taken the route of being, trying to go into that role of being a trans woman, what it is then. And like I said, when you bring, estrogen and other, various drugs into your biological system as a male, it's going to fuck you up on that one alone, dude. Like, there's a reason why when you look at people like Blair White and stuff like that, or anybody else has gone on those drugs and stuff like that over the time and stuff like that, dude, there's a reason why these people are very fucking suicidal to begin with, is what it is there. And it's not until they have like their hormone levels balanced out and stuff like that that they start to actually be kind of normal, is what it is. Then it takes a while to get that shit done, is what it is, bro. You know, it's why you have this entire fucking uptick in trans violence and stuff like that right now across the country currently. You know, you had that one motherfucker the other day I mentioned in the last episode about the them going to the Alabama AG's office and trying to basically firebomb the fucking place, is what it was. And it's like, you know, a bunch of stuff like that, honestly. So, but yeah, the real problem is that, you know, even, and I'll say it like it is, dude, even Corey tried to go on to Ray, he mentioned it last night too, for that matter, during match chat. He was like, he even tried to be that fucking olive branch to Ray Ray's ass at the time, and was like, dude, like, this is why people have a problem with you right now. And Roland just didn't want to hear is what it was, dude. And that's the problem. And it's like, dude, like, there is a whole reason. And even Matt said it last night too, for that matter. He was like, you know, when you have a person who half-assed apologizes to you and is like, yeah, I don't really know what I did to you guys to piss you off, but I guess I'm sorry about that. And that's based, if you look at all the videos he did over like the last couple of years, like the last like year and a half or so, give or take, after this whole thing happened, man, is what it was. That's pretty much what he was fucking doing stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know what I really did to piss you guys off, but fuck you and your families, kind of thing is what it is there and shit. And like he even said it, like I was watching the video that he put up last night about missing Honda and stuff like that, and he's sitting there still talking shit is what it is, dude. And it's like admitting that he basically threatened these people's families is what it is, both Matt and Honda for that matter. And yet then wonders why they don't want to have a fucking thing to do with this guy anymore is what it is, dude. It's like, dude, I wouldn't want anything to do with you either, for that matter, for God's sakes. You know, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. And you would think, honestly, truthfully, in like 2 years' time span almost right now, like, you live in a major city, dude, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for God's sakes. Go find a new fucking set of friends, dude. There's people all over the fucking place. Hell, there's probably people that like the same things you like, honestly. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell a couple stories about Ray Ray's ass, honestly, from back chats I remember having after, like, Honda's chats and stuff like that. And, oh, my God, bro. Like, it's basically, it explains my situation here of, like, when I found out this guy was a fucking lunatic, basically. So there was one time, and this is back during, I want to say it was between 20, because when I started talking with Honda, when I first got on his panels and stuff like that, it was around, like, the tail end of 2020, I believe. So it would have been like after the Rittenhouse self-defense and stuff like that. So it would have been like September, October, someplace of 2020, I believe is what it was. And then it was sometime between 2021 and 2022 there that myself and Ray were talking in a back chat, because it was two of us. Honda had gone to make food, I think is what it was. But his icon was still there, obviously. So you could like hear what was going on, whatever the case be, for the most part, if he was like listening or whatever. And then it was, so it would have been technically the three of us in the room at the time. And I want to say there was like maybe one or two other people or something like that that kind of like stepped away or whatever to go to the bathroom or something. And so it was literally just myself and Roland were talking to each other about some stuff. And I was discussing about like, you know, oh yeah, you know, I'm trying to do this political run for office and everything like that. You know, it's like, explaining like, you know, this is how corrupt Ohio is as a state and whatnot, and what have you, and what it is there and stuff. Fucking Roland starts going into this whole fucking diatribe about how, oh, and this is how you bribe politicians by making fucking Cayman Islands accounts and stuff like that. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was fucking lunacy, dude. Like, this motherfucker's talking about setting up, like, basically a cartel using Cayman Islands fucking bank accounts to bribe politicians and shit, dude. That you can have on your take is what it'd be then or something. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Fake-ass FBI man, like, goodbye, kind of thing. Obviously he wouldn't be, but like, I could totally see Ray Ray being a fucking agent provocateur for the feds or something at this point, like informant or something like that would be then. It would make total sense, by the way, especially with the slanderous shit he said all the time is what it is, dude. That should have got him like fucking fed knocks on a regular basis kind of thing is what it is there. Whether it be on match chats or Honda's chats or whoever's chats, that'd be the case then. And yet he was still like walking free after that, dude. And I'm just like, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense unless you actually have like this dude being on the take somehow from the fucking Fed boys is what it is then. Or having like direct Fed ties somehow is what it is then. Which, like I said, he would never be an agent for that organization or whatever the case be, or any of these organizations for that matter. He would just be some informant guys, what it is for them or something at best. He would basically be like what those blood tribe dudes are right now is what it is. That just go around doing like slanderous shit or whatever the case be to like smear American people is what it is there. And act like white hate still exists in this country when it really doesn't is what it is. So, but yeah, it's just, he's definitely got issues with what it is, man. And then on top of that, like, I remember hearing another story from Ray Ray years ago too. This is probably like, I'm thinking closer to the beginning of 2022, honestly, where he was talking about, I forget if this was during a live chat or if it was after a live chat, but he was talking, because we were talking about, I think it was, I believe it was before all the guys had gone to Tulsa, then is what it was. Because we were discussing like Tulsa and stuff in the back chats and stuff like that and like going or whatever. Because I was thinking about going myself at the time, but of course I didn't have the money to go is what it was, unfortunately. I really wish I did, dude, because some of the stories I've been told since then of what happened during that whole thing, like, holy fucking shit, man. I would have loved to see that stuff firsthand is what it is. Because it was all Ray Ray being a nut, basically. And yeah, so anyway, we were discussing like the Tulsa gun show and stuff like that. And you had, you know, Ray Ray basically like talking to Honda about it. And he was like, you know, blowing smoke up his ass at that point, being like, oh yeah, you're going to get all these great deals at the place. And oh, this is like the greatest gun show ever. And oh, it's so nice. And you can get so many good deals and that we're going to have so much fun and all this other stuff like that. And he was talking about other stuff with what he got there over the years, what it was at the time or whatever. And he was mentioning how, because I guess he had gone to this, it was obviously his backyard there is what it is essentially, is where this place is located at every year. And he was talking about how he had gone there since he was a little kid and stuff like that and bought like various things from various tables and shit. And he was mentioning to us about how, and I quote, and this is a direct quote from Roland's ass at this point, dude. He specifically said, and I quote, I remember walking up to this table with this big-titted blonde woman, and I bought these Nazi sunglasses off of her. And I'm just like, what? And I forget exactly what it was. It was some kind. It was like it was either swastikas on the sunglasses or something, or it was like some kind of like weird Celtic cross thing that was used by the Nazis at the time in World War II and shit that was on it. And he's just like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to get them because I don't know if I could ever get them again or whatever the case." But I'm just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now because that's fucked up." And I just kind of dipped out after that's what it was, man, for real. It was just fucking insane, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, honestly. I don't know if that's a true story or not for that matter. But, like, the way that he was describing it, it sounded like it could have been, honestly. And then what he was saying was at the time, like, he would have been, like, somewhere between, like, 7 and 10 years old at that time in history then. And I'm just like, the fact that somebody willing to sell you that shit as a small child says all kinds of fucked up things about them, dude. And you, for that matter, for wanting to buy that stuff for that, also on that whole thing, man. So, but yeah, like it's just, and by the way, like that's what I'm saying, like that's the kind of shit this motherfucker would tell you, like just randomly in fucking conversation. Not to mention all the crazy, like you can go back to fucking NEA's old chats that are still on his channel, or Honda's old chats are still on his channel with Ray Ray's ass on them and stuff like that, dude. And you can just see how fucking psycho this dude was. Not to mention the fact he would literally just talk over everybody during those chats and stuff like that constantly. Like, I'm sitting there trying to tell a small story for like 2 minutes or something like that. And this dude's fucking just talking over me the entire time. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Seriously. Like, it honestly got to the point where I just fucking had it, man. I was just like, ugh. And just like fucking, you know, just stop talking, basically. Let Ray Ray go on his fucking diatribe again then. And then proceeded to literally like an hour or two after that chat would go on my own fucking channel. Then at that point, just make a fucking video then is what it was. To explain to everybody what the hell I was trying to say then is what it was after the fact then. And it pissed you off eventually, dude. It really does. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm honestly so fucking glad he's been gone for a couple years now, dude, because at least now we can actually have conversations in Honda's chats and stuff like that. To where you're not being interrupted fucking, 14 times in a 2-minute time span, basically is what it is by some asshole. So, but yeah, I really think, honestly, I think what Roland misses, honestly, from just watching that video he posted last night on his channel there, because he was talking about basically shooting the shit, but I think what it really is he misses the fucking audience is what it is. He misses the fact that he can go on there, take over someone else's chat entirely, go on a whole fucking 20-minute diatribe, whatever it is, about some nutty shit is what it is then, and basically have people be a sounding board for his insanity is what it is then, dude. I think that's what the real truth of the matter is, honestly. Which, again, most of us aren't putting up with that anymore, bro. Like, it's 2024. We're, a couple years older now. We're sick and tired of all of it, man. We got our own fucking shit going on. I lost my mom recently. Here's what it was. Dealing with fucking packing this place up still at this point. I still got to pack a bunch of stuff up right now in the next couple weeks now, right now. That I still need to get to. And the only reason I haven't done it right now is because fucking just so tiring is what it is, dude. My body just hurts so much is what it is right now, honestly. If it wasn't for that, I would definitely be packing stuff right now, honestly, while I'm chatting here. But again, it's just even figuring out what to pack and what to, well, it's not really figuring out what to pack. It's figuring out, everything that needs to get packed obviously is here. Just putting in boxes basically is what it is. But it's like figuring out like, okay, does this need to go in this box? Does this go to that box kind of thing is what it is. I know my sister said she's going to buy me more packing boxes recently. I'm not sure if she actually had those sent out or not yet, because if she did, like, they're definitely ruined right now, because if they were dropped off any time in the last couple of days or whatever, they would be sitting out in the rain this entire time then, and you'd have cardboard just being soaked through is what it is then. So yeah, I'm not sure, because it's been raining for like legit. It just stopped raining here a little bit ago, and other than that though, it's been raining legitimately like off and on since like Tuesday afternoon or something like that. That's what it was. So it's been like legit like 4 days of rain basically, almost 5 days now. And yeah, it's just very, very bothersome in general. But the entire point of the matter is, it's like, yeah, I'm going through my own shit right now. Everybody else is going through their own shit right now. It's like the last thing we want to do is have this fucking clown coming back into our lives and stuff like that and doing all kinds of crazy shit again. So, and you would think, truthfully, like even what Roland was saying there in his video and stuff about, how do you put it now? It was something about, God, I'm trying to remember what he said now. Yeah, it was something about basically wanting to be part of the chats again and stuff like that. But then it was also like an offhanded comment of just like essentially like fuck Matt and Honda. Essentially what he was saying there. It's like, again, you wonder why people don't want you back on their chats, dude. Not that hard to figure out, dude. Seriously. And then yeah, there's all kinds of Tulsa stories out there too, man, from the people that were there that day when the shit was going on, and it was just like Ray just being a fucking lunatic. Like I remember a bunch of those guys. It wasn't just one of them. It was like everybody that was there basically telling me this story and like their own perspective of what it was over the time of the last couple of years now is what it is. And it was a bunch of them had gone to apparently I guess what happened was you had I believe this was when they were doing the fish thing, when they were opening that weird canister strumming stuff is what it was that Corey ate a little bit of. And you had a bunch of them walking down to this little area in the park there, and you had a Ray that was like, oh no, I'm going to sit up here and do not like just basically smoke a joint, or so what it was, or something like that is what it was there. And so he's like, 100 feet away from the time or whatever the case is. And that's why you have that one weird video from Tulsa where he's like spy lensing on them, essentially is what it is there, like way down in the gully area of the park there is what it was or something. And so they're down there doing their own thing or whatever the case be, having a good time, fucking, you guys can see that video yourself from them when they opened that fish is what it was. And just like Matt and Honda about to puke, and then a bunch of other people getting all like grossed out and everything else like that. And then, Corey decided to open it up and eat some of it, obviously. But yeah, they all had a good fucked up time is what it was there in that whole thing, dude. And then you had Ray up there doing his own fucking thing is what it was. And you had, I guess it was sometime after that, he had said something about he was supposed to be selling something to somebody and had to go like make a deal with somebody to like make some money or something, I guess that day or something. And he wanted them to wait for him to come back there. And they're like, dude, you have your own vehicle. Just meet us here is what it is. He's like, all right, well, fine. And fuck you guys kind of thing, whatever the case be. And so he went and made this like deal or whatever to make some money or something like that with some random thing. He sold some guy or whatever then. And then he basically you had a bunch of them in this SUV or whatever it was that were like stopped at this light, and all of a sudden you see this crazy motherfucker like fly up, like come like this close to hitting some old woman in the fucking crosswalk, and a bunch of them look over, and it's fucking Ray Ray behind the steering wheel being all like, ugh, like all fucking angry and shit. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. And they're just like, that's what we thought. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, was this dude on something? And they're like, we're pretty sure he was doing some drugs that day. So, but yeah, it's just, it was fucking nuts, man. And it's like, again, like, you wonder why people don't want this in their lives, why they don't want it around their children, etc., man. Like, it's not that hard, bro, to figure out. And then when you try to have people like Corey go on to your little chat that one night, a couple years back now, and try to explain to you, like, dude, like, this is why they have a problem with you right now, because you were trying to fucking call the feds on them over nothing is what it was. And that's what it really was. Even Matt explained that last night, too, for that matter. It's like, he's basically told right after that one chat where him and Honda had that fallout is what it was. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to have you on here for a couple weeks, or it was going to be, or like a week or two, whatever the case is. Just chill the fuck out, calm the fuck down kind of thing is what it is or something. And then Honda, I guess, that weekend, it was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just not going to send him a link for this week because I'm kind of sick and tired of his shit or whatever the case. Let's have a good chat or whatever. And then, yeah, it was after that Ray Ray went fucking insane and psychotic is what it was, dude. Like, I think actually, technically, it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the time of events in that situation, it was basically, you had Ray Ray going off on the whole thing about, like, power and stuff like that, and the Honda cutting him off. It's like, you don't have any fucking power kind of thing or whatever the case is there. And then it was, so that would have been, like, I think a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. And then it would have been that I think it was when Honda still did Saturday chats at the time, so it would have been him not doing it. It was either a Saturday chat or it would have been the Gay Frog chat on that Sunday, if I'm not mistaken then. And of course, Matt said he wasn't going to send him links for a little bit there as well. And so you had, yeah, I think it was Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. Saturday into Sunday, maybe. Yeah, I think it was Saturday, because I think Honda still did Saturday and Sunday chats at that point in time in history. And so he hadn't sent him a link for Saturday Night Chat or whatever the case be. And then it was that Sunday morning, like in the early morning hours and stuff like that, is when I'm pretty sure Ray Ray went nuts all over the fucking Discord and was talking about like feds and like people sending death threats to him, his grandmother and stuff like that, and all kinds of fucking psycho shit. Which again, going back to the time of events I already threw out there about Ray Ray's meth use and stuff like that in this time period of history, makes sense if he was still doing drugs at the time. Like, it might not have been meth, but it might have been something else for that matter, like uppers, downers, who the fuck knows at that point? Or even just like mixing a bunch of medication, who the hell knows, dude? But yeah, if you have like all kinds of like fucking mental problems anyway, and you're like sitting there mixing all kinds of fucking, you know, big pharma pills and like various street drugs and stuff in your system, like, of course you're going to be all mentally fucked in the head, then is what it is, and think people are like out to get you and shit. So, but yeah, none of us did anything to that man, dude, at all. And yet he's sitting there talking about like going on Matt's fucking general Discord and being all like, oh, I'm gonna fucking call the feds on the Discord and this now, all kinds of fucking psycho shit like that. And then of course you had fucking Cletus's ass jumping on that one, who was one of the other assholes involved with my fucking whole thing after the fact when they tried to slander my ass, and this fucking retard jumps in on is what it was then, which I don't like that fucking guy anyway. Cletus is another one of these people that come to be transgender and stuff like that out there, who apparently lives here in Ohio, but is definitely like the epitome of a red flag law, basically, as a leftist piece of shit, basically. And yeah, it's just, I know at one point he called himself Cowgirl Candace or something like that, is what it was at the end or something. I don't know if he's selling at Guns Barbecue or not there, but I don't go fuck anyway. But yeah, that's what that idiot was calling himself at one point though. And yeah, but they're both a bunch of nuts, dude, is what it is. And like, even Honda explained that to me here not long ago. I think it was either during a chat or right after the chat. And he was like, because we were making jokes basically like back and forth about like, man, this guy's run off everybody, hasn't he? And it's like, and it's like all these people that were like claiming to be like transgender now and stuff like that. Like, it was basically like Ray Ray, Derpy, some other motherfucker, and then it's like a fourth person or whatever the case be. I'm just like, damn, bro. And it's funny though, because it wasn't really him running these people off either, for that matter. It's like them just basically just like sort of dipping on their own in many cases, but then it's like Ray Ray just being a nut is what it was then. So, but yeah, like like I said, man, I think that's the problem with a lot of people though that want to be, so-called transgender is what it is. They want to sit there and do all that kind of stuff, whatever the case may be. But yet, there's that hormone imbalance in their system, is what it is. To where if your levels are not leveled out, like you're either going to be fucking psycho up here or you're going to be psycho down here, is what it is. So it's either you're going to, lash out and like try to harm others and stuff like that, or you're going to be harming yourself. That be the case, and kind of a thing there. So, and unfortunately, it seems like that's a lot of the cases anymore. Is people that go up there is what it is, and just fucking try to lash out society in general is what it is then. So, anyway, and like I said, if you actually look into the that histrionic personality disorder thing is what it is here. This is how it is actually described. I'm going to go ahead and discuss this for a couple minutes, and that's where we're going to leave off this chat, is what it'll be at the end. So, yeah, this was from the National Institute of Health, which is a histrionic personality disorder, is a chronic and enduring condition marked by the constant pattern of attention-seeking behaviors and an exaggerated display of emotions, which describes where to do a T right now, honestly. Says typically emerging in late adolescence to early adulthood, individuals with HPD are often categorized as narcissistic, self-indulgent, and flirtatious. Again, all three of these things describe Roland. Let's see. It says individuals with HPD may feel undervalued when not in the spotlight. Again, makes sense why Ray Ray used to take over the chats all the time, is what it is. Leading to a persistent need for validation. Again, perfectly describes his ass. It says psychiatrists conduct the typical assessment, but input from primary care, emergency medicine therapists, and a patient's family or friends is considered. It says several psychiatrists or psychologists have historically categorized HPD to define the criteria within the DSM-5. This activity reviews the evaluation, treatment, and management of HPD as a lifelong psychiatric disorder. Participating clinics also review the what is that word? Differentiating characteristics compared to cluster personality disorder, emphasizing the need for interpersonal collaboration. What is cluster personality disorders is my question on that one. Let's go ahead and check that one out real quick. Okay, just personality disorders on that whole thing. So it'll be genes, environment, etc. on that one, what they're saying there. Okay, but let's go ahead and see about the actual HPD. HPD here is what it is. So identify DSM-5 thing. Here's what it is, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and let's talk about how you do this stuff. Okay, here we go. So we'll talk about. Oh, geez, this is a long ass thing right here, man. Good lord. I think it's basically talking about how to actually describe somebody as this thing, or like characterize them as a psychiatrist or whatever the case be, into that category or whatever. Then, so yeah, the introduction here, it says histrionic personality disorder is characterized by a perception pattern of attention-seeking behaviors and a theatrical level of emotional reactions. Yeah, I would say that describes Ray Ray, honestly. Says condition is usually lifelong, though onset is typically in late adolescence or adulthood. Individuals with it are often described as narcissistic, self-indulgent, flirtatious, dramatic, extroverted, and animated. Again, all describes Roland to a T, honestly, on that one. Says individuals with this disorder may feel underappreciated or disregarded when they are not in the center of attention. They may be vibrant, enchanting, overly seductive, or inappropriate sexually. That makes total sense. That last one, the inappropriate sexuality. Yeah, that actually, oh my god, bro, that makes so much sense now. It says people presenting with HPD typically demonstrate rapidly shifting and shallow emotions than others may perceive as insincere. Again, makes sense why it's the whole fake apology shit. It says roots of histrionic personality disorder, roots of histrionic behavior can be traced back to ancient times when Greek and Roman physicians observed individuals who displayed excessive theatrically and emotional expression. Says these individuals were described as, quote, histrionical, a term derived from the Greek word hysteria, meaning uterus, as it was believed that these behaviors were exclusively to women and usually caused by disturbances in the uterus. In the late 90s, sorry, I gotta laugh about that one a little bit there. Jesus. But anyway, so it's 19th century during the era of what is that? Psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud contributed to the underlying understanding of histrionic behavior. He proposed the concept of hysteria as a psychological disorder primarily affecting women and categorized by emotional excessness and attention-seeking behavior. Freud's theories, although controversial and often criticized, laid the groundwork for the exploration of histrionic symptoms and behaviors. Says HPD was formerly categorized as a distant diagnosis category in the 20th century. In the 1980s, the diagnosis and systematic diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or the DSM, 3 edition introduced histrionic personality disorder as disposable condition. DSM-3 identified key criteria, including a perceived pattern of excessive emotionality, a need for attention, and exaggerated behaviors. Since introduction of the DSM, HPD criteria have undergone refinements in subsequent editions. DSM-4 1994, DSM-4-TR in 2000 maintained the core diagnosis criteria, emphasizing attention-seeking behavior and self-dramatization, but also emphasized the need to consider cultural context and gender differences when diagnosing the disorder. In the latest edition of the DSM, DSM-5-TR in 2022, HPD is still categorized as a distant disorder or distant diagnosis. The DSM-5-TR divides personality disorders into cluster A, B, and C. Each cluster encompass a distinct set of personality disorders with commonalities regarding systems, behaviors, and underlying psychological patterns. As personality, or cluster A, is personality disorders with odd or erratic characteristics. These include paranoid personality disorder, schizophroid personality disorder, and schizopal personality disorder. Individuals within this cluster exhibit social withdrawal, particular or paranoid beliefs, and difficulties forming close relationships. So actually, that might be closer to what Rory has, honestly. It's maybe a mix of histrionic personality disorder, one of these ones, honestly, if that'd be the case then. Might just be multiple personality disorders for that matter, dude. So, actually, the paranoid personality disorder makes sense, too, for that matter. Let's go ahead and look that up and see exactly what it's characterized as right now. Let's see. People with PPD also suffer from paranoia, unrelenting mistrust, and suspicion of others, even when there is no reason to be suspicious of them. Yeah, so it sounds like it's maybe both those things together, actually. Histrionic personality disorder and paranoid personality disorder, for that matter. So, yep. That would actually make sense logically, dude. Then we got category, or cluster B, personality disorders with dramatic, emotional, and erratic behaviors. Cluster includes antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. Individuals in this cluster display impulsive actions, emotional instability, and challenges in maintaining stable relationships. So, yeah, both A and B describe right to a T right now is what it is, dude. Let's see. Cluster C, personality disorder with anxious and fearful characteristics. These include avoidant personality disorder, dependent personality disorder, and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Individuals within this cluster tend to experience significant anxiety, fear of abandonment, and an excessive need for control or perfectionism. Somewhat, yeah. So I would say just personality disorder across the board is what Rory has, honestly, at this point, dude. So then it goes on from there, basically. But yeah, needless to say, it's basically, yeah. When you have like personality disorder issues is what it is, and then you combine like, hardcore drugs and stuff into that mix, and then, obviously like various hormone drugs and stuff on top of that, then it's just going to exacerbate this person's condition is what it is, man. And my best advice to them is go seek help, man, seriously. Like, go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or something. Seek help. Try to form new friendships and a fucking hell. Maybe even go to a fucking thing where you can go to like sort of like one of those round table groups, if you will. It's almost like an AA group, whatever the case be, but it's for like personality disorder people or whatever the case be. And see about maybe making some friends there is what it is then. Because a lot of us don't want anything to do with it anymore, dude, for real. And as far as my understanding is, like, people are openly saying this right now. So, you know, good luck to you, buddy. But it's been fun. It's been real kind of thing is what it is. We're never going to talk again. Basically is what it is there, man. So anyway, but yeah, that's where I'm at for the day, man. I'll be back later tonight with another Stand Your Ground Saturday where I will be discussing with whoever's on the panel at the time the stuff going on with our government currently with the whole FISA warrantless searches and stuff like that is what it is. And we still have this one time on Monday to get a chance to basically knock this shit out right now because Anna Paula Luna was able to bring forward a rule because there wasn't a full Congress there to where we can actually have another vote on Monday is what it is. Hopefully we'll have at least one or two people change their fucking minds on that one and actually bring forward the Biggs Amendment there to stop spying on people and breaking our Fourth Amendment rights is what it is then, dude, for legal search and seizures and stuff like that. So anyway, other than that though, like I said, my best advice to Ray, get help, man. Seriously. Get help, talk to people in various psychiatry, psychology fields, etc. there. Actual professionals in the fields is what I'm talking about. Just not just people you claim are professionals, what it is there. Like, get yourself some real help, honestly. If nothing else, get into a group of people for that matter that, you know, can have help like a fucking chat around a circle or whatever the case be or something. And make some new friends there in Tulsa, honestly. And stop making all these fucking fan videos for God's sakes, man. So, anyway. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Have a good one, y'all. Later.